loan deal with obligation to buy at the end of it.
Totally agree. Let's chat Zubimendi, because we actually haven't been able to do that yet. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, there's just been so much focus on the North London derby, the need for a striker, the lack of wins, the frustration around the team, that the Zubimendi news kind of came and we all went, oh wow, that's kind of crazy, and then sort of had to get on with our lives quite quickly. I said on Forever Arsenal earlier, because of this kind of cloud over us needing a forward and the injuries and the form we've been in, I haven't really been able to enjoy like I should the fact that it looks like, and I stress looks like, we're going to be signing the most sought after number 6 in world football. When I say sought after, I mean Rodri's obviously not leaving Man City. I'm talking who's looking for that next move at some point, linked with Real Madrid. I don't know if Barcelona, but certainly Bayern Munich, Arsenal, Manchester City, Liverpool. And it looks like, according to Sami Mokbel, whose quotes terminology was virtually completed when he was talking about the deal, Ornstein and Romano have described it as in advanced talks, and that, you know, Arsenal are really pursuing this deal. It looks like we might have won the race for a really, really, really talented midfielder, Robbie, in a position we need because Partey and Jorginho's contracts expire soon.
Yeah, and Partey and Jorginho, it looks like they're definitely going. There's been no contracts put down for them this January, right? And they're free to talk to whoever they want to right now. And it'd be a great signing. It's just the timing of it. No one cares because, right, all we want to know about is a striker. But listen, it would be.
But we should care. I mean,
we should.
There's this season, but then
we should care because
a future. And
it's a coup.
Wow.
It's a coup. If Arsenal pulled that off, we all know about last year when, you know, Liverpool thought that they had pulled that deal off. You know, a lot of people are thinking, bloody hell, what a signing for Liverpool. It would be a great signing for Arsenal. It would be a coup. There's lots of clubs, like you said, Real Madrid, Bayern, all these clubs are interested in him, seriously interested in him. And if Arsenal manage to pull that off, you know, it's an absolute coup. You know, so, but... I don't really want to hear about that right now.
I hear it, but let's talk about the player actually. Look, we all agree.
Yeah.
This is great, but we really need that forward, you know, Josh and Mikel and everyone, Jason Ato, whoever's involved. Totally, we all agree. But putting that aside, this is a really exciting signing. Turkish, what have you made of it?
Signed him yet? You must want to be clipped, and then in 6 months when he's putting a Liverpool shirt on, this one goes out, and
this would be a very exciting sign.
It would be. I like Zubimendi. We were linked to him 18 months ago.
Yes.
I think we were linked to him originally in January, if I'm not mistaken.
January 2 years ago, I think.
2 years ago. Yeah, sorry. I like Zubimendi. Didn't know much about him at that time, but you know, kept an eye out since. He's, you know, obviously shone on since as well. When you look at what he's done for Spain, and you know, leveled up at Sociedad as well. In my opinion, in isolation, great signing considering Partey and Jorginho will be leaving in the summer. So if that is the replacement coming in, I'm more than happy with that in isolation. It's nice to see again the midfield or defence, which we've done this to, forward thinking, forward planning a bit. In terms of, all right, that's who we want, and we're going to get him in early because we know them men are leaving. You know, it's nice to see it in midfield. We'd like to see it in attack as well.
That would be a £51 million release clause we'd be paying. Now, I saw you covered on Transfer Daily that Arsenal may even pay more as a fee overall, so that they can actually stagger the payments and make a bit more sense for them. So, again, that all seems quite sensible. Do I care if Zubimendi costs us 51 or 65? I don't really, but if Arsenal pay, and I just plucked 65, you know, out of nowhere, but I mean, if it was a 58, 60 million pound deal, but it wasn't 50 million pounds up front, it was 25, 30, you feel like that's probably being quite smart from an Arsenal perspective. I feel like, listen, what big clubs do, I don't know, but that feels quite big club, I'd suppose.
That's a big club move, you know what I mean? As I said, anytime you buy a player that everybody else is after, you know, like when we got Declan Rice, you know, those are big, big moves. It's impressive. That is impressive. It's just, like I said, right? I wish they had the same sort of amount of forward planning when it comes to a striker, right? Because, you know, but it is, and maybe it's an indication of the careful planning and that they have got in place for the summer. Maybe they have got an intention to buy a striker like that in the summer, or a wide player, because the rumours is as well, there's a similar thing that they've got playing for Nico Williams in the summer. So, but
I didn't know there was a phase 6. If they're planning all this for phase 6, bloody hell, what was they doing?
Well, you got to plan for the summer, innit?
Yeah, but what happened to last summer then?
What
Why didn't they plan for that?
the summer for Nico Williams that you couldn't execute last summer or now? That's why I don't
And if
understand.
people say, before they say it, he loves Bilbao, he wants to stay there, his brother, he wants Barcelona, all right, move on. Don't 6 months later say you're talking to the same guy, you want the same guy, but the same problems are the problems now. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, Turkish, it could be that they've spoken to him and he said, right, I'll come in summer.
And if he, listen, we ain't got time to wait for you, kid. You come now, or we move on. Sorry, I don't want to come. Cool. Now, why are we waiting on? Why we, like, if we are, I'm not saying we are, but Nico Williams ain't no, like, he's a quality player. We're not talking about an Mbappe here or a Vinicius Junior. It's, you know, it's a young up and coming winger. Like, if he was to say, wait for me a year, I'll be like, with all due respect, we've got a club to run, we've got things to win. We'll see where we're at in a year, but we're gonna shift these funds onto someone else.
Laurie, thoughts on Zubimendi then, if this gets done?
No, listen, man, like everybody else here, I think it's a very good sign. It's an astute piece of business. But obviously it depends on how you frame it. If you frame it in terms of long-term thinking, it makes a lot of sense. The problem is, it's set against the backdrop, like Robbie said, of us not having a forward player, you know what I mean, to speak of. Then people are going to draw the obvious inference. It's like, yeah, okay, wake me up when we get there, we get a striker. Because it's interesting because myself and Robbie had quite an animated discussion yesterday, didn't we? And I was the one saying, you were the one that calmed me down a little bit. And I was saying, yeah, Zubimendi, man, but where's the striker? And you were the one saying to me, look, come on now. I hear you, Laurie, but let's look at it in isolation. The guy's a very good player. Big clubs from all over the world are looking at him. Surely it makes sense to get him. And I was actually saying, yeah, you know what? Grudgingly, I do agree with you. So, like I said, it's a framing thing. You know?
Yep. Totally is. Let's go through the rest of the super chats. Let me just say one thing on the Zubimendi stuff, and you know, I think it's important to know this, that it's not done. You're right. I know the terminology in the Daily Mail was virtually complete. I know that all the other reports came out with terms are agreed. I think James was Ben Jacobs. I think Romano said very advanced, and I think David Ornstein described Arsenal as pursuing the deal. So a lot of things were pointing towards it getting done. But a few things I wanted to point out was, there was a lot of feeling in the English media that Zubimendi had said yes to Liverpool and was going to go there once it'd been hashed out with Sociedad. Didn't happen. Other Spanish media have said, look, it's you know, he's focusing on Real Sociedad, and some are even worried that if Xabi Alonso goes to Real Madrid, then that might be the move for him, and you could kind of see why. So there's a few moving parts to this still. But obviously the reporting was quite heavy on the Tuesday, saying, look, it's looking like he's going to go to Arsenal. Let's see. Because it's very rare that we have news like that in January about a summer player or summer transfer that strongly.